So this is the second time I've filmed this. Anyway, camera turned off earlier. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. And he said to the woman, Yes, has God said, You shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said to the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the middle of the garden, God has said, You shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest you die. And the serpent said to the woman, You shall not surely die. For God does know that in the day that you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and the tree to be desired to make one wise. She took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also to her husband with her, and he did eat. And the eyes of both of them were opened, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. So they have leaves for clothes, for clothing, but it's not the best clothing. And they heard the voice of the Lord God walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord God among the trees of the garden. And the Lord God called to Adam and said to him, Where are you? And he said, I have heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, and I hid myself. And he said, Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten of the tree whereof I commanded you that you shall not eat? And the man said, The woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat. And the Lord God said to the woman, What is this that you have done? And the woman said, The serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. Okay, Google. What does beguiled mean?
Here's the definition of beguile. Charm or enchant someone, sometimes in a deceptive way.
So that's what beguiled means. And the Lord God said to the serpent, Because you have done this, you are cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. On your belly shall you go, and dust you shall eat all the days of your life. And remember, man is made out of dust. So the serpent's eating man. And I will put enmity between you and the woman, between your seed and her seed. It shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel. To the woman he said, I will greatly multiply your sorrow in your conception. In sorrow you shall bring forth children, and your desire shall be for your husband, and he shall rule over you. So I've heard that the word for desire in Hebrew is actually the word for control. So you shall wish to control him, like desire him so much that you desire his soul, kind of. But he shall rule over you. And to Adam he said, Because you have listened to the voice of your wife, and have eaten of the tree of which I commanded you, saying, You shall not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for your sake. In sorrow shall you eat of it all the days of your life. Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to you, and you shall eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of your face you shall eat bread, till you return to the ground, for out of it you were taken, for dust you are, and to dust shall you return. Like Job, I was naked when I came to this world, and I will be naked when I go out of this world. Nothing, I have nothing, is basically what it's saying. And Adam called his wife's name Eve, because she was the mother of all the living. This is a weird place to name your wife. Maybe she got to pick her name at first, but then she decided she lost her identity after eating of the forbidden fruit, so she had to have that sense of identity afterwards. And he kind of helped her out, and he said, okay, your name is Eve because you're the mother of all living. He had to remind her of that thing that she still had, that goodness that she still had. God gives all goodness. To Adam also and to his wife did the Lord God make coats of skins and clothed them. So the first clothes that were made, the first covering that we had came about because of death. Something had to die in order for us to be covered, be kept warm, to have that lack of shame. And the Lord God said, Behold, the man is become as one of us, to know good and evil. And now lest he put forth his hand, and take also of the tree of life, and eat, and live forever. That would be terrible if we lived forever in sin. Therefore the Lord God sent him forth from the Garden of Eden to the ground from where he was taken. So he drove out the man, and placed at the east end of the Garden of Eden a cherubim, or not a cherubim, it says, placed in the east of the Garden of Eden, cherubim. My goodness. And a flaming sword, which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life. And that is the end of chapter 3. So tell me what you think, and eat all the potato chips in the world, and God bless you.